deal with you, General, for that man's life!
Yeah, they made that deal, but they don't give a fuck about him. They need you.
You'll be shot for this?
Nah, I don't think so. More like chewed out. I've been chewed out before. You know, Yudovich myself heard that deal you made with the brass. In the war tonight, I'll make that deal. How about you, Yudovich? You make that deal?
I'd make that deal.
I don't blame you. Damn good deal. And that pretty little nest you feather for yourself. Well, if you're willing to barbecue the whole high command, I suppose that's worth certain considerations. But I do have one question. When you get to your little place on Nantucket Island, I imagine you won't take off that handsome-looking SS uniform of yours. Ain't you? That's what I thought.
There is no country in the world where it is conceivable that a man of my origins could be standing here next to the President of the United States.
Kissinger, who died yesterday at the age of 100. The former National Security Advisor and Secretary of State shaped American foreign policy in a critical period in the late 60s and the 70s, a hugely influential and divisive figure on the world stage for more than 6 decades. For more than 60 years, Dr. Henry Kissinger was one of the most influential and controversial figures in American foreign affairs. A Jewish refugee who fled Nazi Germany at 15 with his family, Kissinger became a U.S. citizen in 1943, awarded both the Nobel Peace Prize and the Presidential Medal of Freedom. The Republican stalwart served as a part-time foreign policy advisor to both Presidents Kennedy and Johnson as well. In 1969, Kissinger was a political scientist at Harvard University when President Richard Nixon named him National Security Advisor.
I shall nominate and send to the Senate for confirmation the name of Dr. Henry Kissinger.
4 years later, he became Secretary of State.
There is no country in the world where it is conceivable that a man of my origins could be standing here next to the President of the United States.
Kissinger helped reestablish relations between the U.S. and China, worked to relieve tensions between the U.S. and the Soviet Union, which resulted in a nuclear weapons treaty.
It's a significant step towards the prevention of nuclear war.
Back in the U.S., with the Vietnam War becoming increasingly unpopular, Kissinger played a major role in the Nixon administration's policy that escalated, then ended the war.
We're here because we have understood the fatal connection between our government's policies in Southeast Asia.
Tensions rose when Kissinger helped orchestrate the controversial and secret U.S. bombing campaign in Cambodia, which killed tens of thousands of people. In 1974, the Watergate scandal led Richard Nixon to resign, but Kissinger stayed under President Gerald Ford. He left office with the Ford administration in 1977, continued informally advising presidents of both parties. Kissinger was a diplomat until the very end, meeting with leaders around the globe, traveling to China over the summer, meeting with President Xi Jinping, and in September, sitting down with Ukraine's President Zelensky during his trip to the U.S. His presence on the world stage felt long after he officially left. Last year, I sat down with the former Secretary of State as he reflected on his life of service. Any key decisions you would take back today?
You know, that's a question I'm often asked. And I have developed no great answer for it because I've been thinking about these problems all my life. It's my hobby as well as my occupation. And so the recommendations I made were the best of which I was then capable.
Dr. Henry Kissinger was 100 years old. Here with our Chief Global Affairs anchor, Martha Raddatz. And Martha, it is hard to overstate the impact he had on American foreign policy over decades.
Just an extraordinary impact. And as he said, and you said, he was doing that until the end. That was his life. That was his passion. That's all he wanted to do is diplomacy. That speech in August in China, a speech a month ago, that interview with you at age 100. But there is one quote that really resonates with me that he said, foreign policy should reflect continuing values of the American people. That was not always the case with him, and that has not always been the case since. And that is always the challenge with diplomacy. It's always the challenge with foreign policy. Look where the world is today. Look at our relationship with China that's opening up a bit more. Our relationship with Russia, always a challenge, always something to do. But Henry Kissinger is the man so many look towards.
It courted controversy, did not shy away from it.
Did not shy away from it, still wasn't shying away from it in that interview. I mean, he embraced what happened. I mean, when you think about the values of the American people, and you mentioned Cambodia, 40,000 people died. That was carpet bombing. Were those the values of the American people? But he stood by so many things that he did. He reflected, he learned from them, he taught people about that, but remains very controversial today.
There is no country in the world where it is conceivable that a man of my origins could be standing here next to the President of the United States.
Fight and you may die. Run and you'll live. At least a while.